Welcome to the first episode of 2025. And you are listening to the Female Empowered Podcast with your host, Christa Gurka. So, if this is your first time listening, what you're going to get here is a whole lot of business advice for women owners of boutique fitness, wellness, and healthcare businesses. So, if you are one of those people or you're thinking of becoming one soon, you will have a no BS um, opportunity to learn how to run a successful, profitable, and sustainable business from the inside out. So welcome and Happy New Year. Happy 2025 to all of you. I hope you all had wonderful holidays. And you are recuperating, and we are getting started with a new year. I am very excited to start this new year. One, because I am excited for where Pilates in the Grove is going to be going, which is my business, in 2025. I'm excited to bring all of you along for the ride. And I'm excited for where your businesses get to go in 2025. I really, really, really am. And so, what I'm going to share with you in this episode is what you can actually do in 2025. So, many of us overestimate what we can do in a day or a week or a month. And we drastically underestimate what we can do in a year. Sustainable change takes time, right? The same way we wouldn't tell a patient who's had chronic back pain for 10 years, well, in 10 minutes, you're going to feel better with this one thing. No, it takes time. The same way we wouldn't tell someone who just had a baby, oh, don't worry, it took you 9 months to get this way. 9 days, you're going to be back to normal. No, sustainable change takes time. So, what we want to be doing this year, if you're just listening or you need some inspiration and motivation, is sometimes we have to slow it down a little bit so we can speed up and really accomplish that sustainable change, right? And so, what I want every listener of the Female Empowered Podcast to take away with them this year is how to make 2025 the year that you break free from the one woman show, the year that you break free from wearing all the hats. Okay. The year that you break free from as many limiting beliefs that you have about yourself and your business as you possibly can. Okay. So if you're the person that is teaching classes, treating patients, doing inbound calls, following up with prospects, managing staff, handling the marketing, and trying to grow the business on top of living and being a human being in the world of 2025, you probably have very little time to breathe, if anything, and definitely not a whole lot of time to enjoy that latte in the morning or put your feet up, kick your feet up at the end of the day without a computer on your lap, returning emails and checking schedules and accounts and all of that stuff. Okay. So today we're going to talk about that, what you can do in a year. And I'm not going to just give you theory. I'm going to give you exact ways, real data about people that have done it. Okay. And I'm going to start with myself and Pilates in the Grove. All of you know, obviously, what transpired in 2020 drastically changed the course of many of our businesses. Now, some of you listeners probably didn't start your business until after 2020. So you have a whole different experience of starting a business after one of the craziest times in business history, forget business, in our lifetimes alone. So Pilates in the Grove, when we started 2024, we were finally net positive. So we went into the year 2024 with a 4% profit, a 4% profit. Okay. And at that time, we were really trying to see if we could finally get back to the cash flow positive business that we once were pre-2020. Okay. And I will tell you, profitability isn't the number one thing that drives business to failure. It's cash flow. Okay. So not having cash flow and not being able to make decisions because you're basically what we would call cash poor really sucks. Okay. So basically, so what we were on a mission for 2024, our mission was to optimize for profitability. Our goal was to, yes, increase the top line. Okay. But we were also trying to really, really increase the bottom line and end the year as cash flow positive as possible, as we possibly could. And that was our goal. And I encourage all of you to have a goal of, to have a goal for your year. Okay. So basically, for 2025, what is your year? Is it growth? Is it sustainability? Is it profitability? Is it systems? Okay. So that way, everything, everything is going to drive you to remember that initiative. So if anything veers you off, like shiny red syndrome, shiny object, shiny object syndrome, you'll be back. Is this going to get us closer to our goal or farther away from our goal? Okay. So at the end of 2023, leading into 2024, we had a 3.79% profitability. Okay. So we had about $50,000 in our account. Okay. Now, at the end of 2024, okay, so currently what we're going to finish this year with, all right, is as of today, as of today is the beginning of the year, but I'm actually recording this before the new year. We were able to jump up to 17.5 profit margin and over $250,000 in cash. And that was in 1 year. Okay. So we went from being net positive, right? Which is a good thing. But we went from being net positive to being significantly net positive and having significant cash flow in 1 year. All right. So what are some of the things we did? We were really, really intentional with every buying decision we made. So anything that was going to cost us an investment, we really had to look at it and say, is this going to get us closer to being more profitable? And if the answer was yes, then we did it. And if the answer was no, then we did not do it. Okay. We made a few different structural changes to our team and our staff. We really looked really hard in our P&L and made sure that we weren't paying for things that we didn't need to be paying for. And we did see some things, but with a business that's doing just north of 7 figures, $1,000, $2,000 can really move the needle one way or the other. And if you're in 6 figures, $1,000 can significantly move the needle in your business one way or the other. So it doesn't take a massive investment or a massive amount of time if you're just consistent with your goals. Okay. So that was the example I wanted to start out, my example of how we were able to increase our profitability and our cash flow by over $200,000 just by looking at our numbers, looking at our metrics, deciding where we wanted to go, and being very true to how we were going to get there, right? So we pivoted a little bit throughout the year, but our goal did not change. Okay. So let's talk about a little bit of a reality check here, where you as owner being everything to everyone is killing your business, not to mention yourself. All right. And possibly your family, possibly it's leaking over into other places in your life. So the true cost of not having the right systems and processes in your business is you're giving up your time. You are giving up your energy, which are both resources you cannot get back. Okay. Once your time is gone, your time is gone. You cannot get that back. So, and have also, it creates burnt out staff. How does it do that? If we don't have a system and we're always fumbling around and in the dark and fumbling, it irritates the team, and rightfully so. Okay. Chaos, while entrepreneurs sometimes thrive in chaos, okay, that's why we're good at being entrepreneurs. Your staff doesn't like chaos. They like structure. They like knowing that they're going to get paid each and every pay period, that there's opportunities for growth, that things are going to be the same over and over and over. They don't love the chaos. We thrive in the chaos, which is why when it gets too easy, a lot of times we just sabotage our business in some weird way and make it harder than it needs to be. So I want you to really think, are you functioning as an operator or are you functioning as an owner? Think about that. Are you functioning as an operator? And a lot of that has to do with you being the doer, or are you functioning as an owner? So, what are some things that you can get done in a full year? Not in a week, not in a month, maybe not even in a quarter, but a full year. You can accomplish creating your first SOP. Okay. You can create all of the standard operating procedures for group classes. You can create all of the standard operating procedures that go along with hiring. Okay. What does a procedure like that look like? Deciding what role you need filled, posting about that role, performing Zoom calls, or I'm trying to think of the name, screening evaluations, having in-person interviews, possibly having follow-up interviews, hosting an audition, checking resource references, making an offer, negotiating the offer, solidifying the offer, start date, onboarding, training, etc. So that's an entire process, right? So by building that out, it's a system that you can follow over and over and over and over and over again until everyone knows what they're doing. Okay. What about setting up automated systems, automated emails, automated task management? So it reminds the person, the person that's in charge of inventory every month, the day of the month that you do inventory, whether that's the first of the month or the 15th of the month, however you do it, the first Monday of every month. But this person has a system and has automated a reminder to remind them on the first Monday of every month, do inventory, process inventory. Yeah, sorry, just taking a little sip of water. Okay. What about how to hire and train your first key managerial position? What if you're ready to finally hire a manager or delegate things to a manager? That would be something that you need to prepare for, right? So how are you going to prepare to find the right person, hire and onboard the right person? Okay, takes time. Now, also, what are you going to do to onboard this person? Here is my advice. And this is another reason why sometimes hiring and delegating gets so overwhelming for people. If you're going to bring on a manager, you should not have to teach them, for the most part, how to be a manager. They should have some sort of operational experience. Okay. So when I hired my first director of operations, they're not even in the industry. They're not instructors. They're not physical therapists. They never worked in healthcare or wellness, but they knew how to operate. Okay. So all I was teaching them was about the nuance of our business model, but I wasn't teaching them how to operate. And here's the problem most of us do is we hire clinicians that don't have operational experience. And so what we're doing is teaching them how to operate at the same time we're teaching ourselves. But generally, we should look for people that have managerial leadership or some sort of operational experience, so that when they start the day, you're not telling them how to operate. They know how to operate. All you're teaching them is how to operate within your system. Okay. And then you're like, this is what we need. We need to streamline these processes. Great. Go run with it. Okay. So it's like when you hire a physical therapist, you don't have to teach them how to be a physical therapist. They know how to be a physical therapist. You might just have to teach them how to be a physical therapist within your business model. Okay. And that is where I think a lot of the disconnect is when our industry, owner operators are starting to try to build a leadership team. Okay. What about how can you start to build a strategic plan for multiple revenue streams? I hear this from people all the time. Oh, I want to add this and I want to add this and we want to do on demand and I want to do workshops. One thing at a time, first of all, number one, and plan it out. Why don't you take 1 year to build out your on-demand platform? Okay. It doesn't have to be complicated, but give yourself time and give yourself actual action items on how to get to the end results. Okay. So what about one of the things I really, really encourage you to do as CEOs of your company is to schedule clarity breaks. Okay. Usually, I think people call them all sorts of things: brain dumps, clarity breaks, clarity calls. So basically, 1 hour a week, 1 hour a week, put it in your calendar, put it in your schedule. Mondays from 9 to 10. I would not do it on a Friday because I think by the end of the week, you're crazy. I think Mondays are a good time, or Wednesdays, but take a journal, any journal, a notebook, okay, a notebook, and just literally brain dump all the stuff you're thinking about in your business. Write it down. I want to do this. I want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't like this. This is the problem, I think. Write everything down 1 hour a week and don't let anything get in that hour. So make it at a time that you don't have to be rescheduling it over and over. Sit preferably outside somewhere, maybe if it's not freezing, and do yourself a favor and start to put your ideas down on paper. And then you can have people on your team, or you can reread it afterwards and be like, okay, this is something we can do now. This is something we're going to have to defer to later. This is something I can delegate to somebody else. All right. What if you set a goal to outline and create one new standing operating procedure each and every month? And the creation of that is to get it down on paper, whether it be true paper and pencil form or digital paper and pencil, so that you can print it out and put it in a notebook or have it in some sort of digital file. But the idea of this is that instead of you having to train somebody over and over and over and over again, your team can just rely on the process. Go back to the process. I love to create videos. And then when my new team gets onboarded, basically their first week is watching videos, watching it be done. Okay. There's lots of programs out there that you can screen record yourself. I'm using one of them, Zoom. You can use Loom. You can use screen record. There's so many things. There is a software called Tango, like Let's Do the Tango, that basically will do it for you. It'll take screen recordings and then create the process by watching you do it on the computer. So those are really great options. That's Tango. All right. So if you're going to start with SOPs, here are the top 3 SOPs every fitness business needs, I think. I'm not saying these are the top ones. I'm saying these are the ones I think every fitness business needs. Okay. Number 1, opening and closing procedures for whomever is responsible for that. Usually it's one of our admins, but maybe it's an instructor. Okay. Opening and closing the studio. Okay. So things like, literally our process starts with unlock the door, turn off the alarm, turn on the lights. Okay. You can go into equipment sanitation, check this temperature, check the music, organize your desk. Safety equipment, like make sure everything is safe. Turn on the computer, check messages, check emails, check cancellations, check the wait list. All of these little things, okay? Take out the garbage. Then you have closing checklists. Take out the garbage, take out the garbage. Check the wait list. Has anybody canceled? Can we move people from the wait list? Do you need to confirm anybody for tomorrow? Do you need to follow up and close out any tasks? Are all of the clients checked out for the day? All of your opening and closing. And literally, the way that you do it is just sit down one day or have someone on your team. And no, I'm not joking. Literally everything they do. Open the door, turned off the alarm, turn on the lights. Then what do? Put your bag away, turn on the computer. Like literally have them write it down or have them say it in like, I love voice records. You can do voice memo and then you can just write it down. Okay. Then for client experience standard operating procedure. So now you have an opening and closing checklist. That's your admin. Now you have your client, like customer journey, client experience one. Okay. What is your new client welcome? Okay. Our welcome is, if able, the person at the front desk stands up and greets the person by name, if that's possible. They say, hey, how can I help you today? If they answer the phone, we have a very specific way they answer the phone. Hello, thank you for calling Pilates in the Grove. This is Christa speaking. How may I help you today? Okay. Let's check. How do we check people in from class? Do you have an automated one? Do you have a scanner? Do you do it personally? Do you ask them their name? Do you check them in and tell them that they have X amount left on their package? For new clients, do you show them around? Okay. Do you give them a tour? Tell them where to put their stuff, where are the bathrooms, how to set up the reformer, whatever that process is. Okay. What should happen during the class? The instructor greets them by name. They check their injury. They ask them if they have an injury. They discuss stuff with them during the session. They discuss the future after the session. They give them feedback. They walk them back to the front desk. The front desk just asks them, are they scheduled for their next session? If they're in an intro package, reminds them when that intro package expires and tries to get both following visits scheduled. Okay. Then we have an automated system that follows up with them over and over and over again. Okay. Until they close out that new client special, which usually in our case is 14 days or less, and they are moved into a returning customer. All right. Then you have, what about like time off policy and procedure? Okay. So now this has to do with your staff. What is the process and procedure for your employees when they need time off? How far in advance do they need to request time off? Are they responsible for getting their own subs before they even request time off? Where do they send that request? Do you have a database where they do it internally? Do they send somebody an email? Do you have a form they have to print up? What is it? How will they know that their vacation has been approved? Do you allow unpaid vacation? What is the policy for using your paid time off? All of these things can be written out. And if you think about it, if you do one each and every month, by the end of the year, you'll have 12 processes, which is definitely enough to run your brick and mortar business. Now, there's some that can be nuanced and added on or definitely refined year over year, but having 12. So if you think about it, okay, admin, right? Open and closing checklist, lead generation or follow-up, that's a system. You have a hiring system. You have an onboarding system. You have a termination system. Okay. That could be all, you can put them all into HR. You have a marketing system, social media, email, newsletter, website design. There's all of these systems. Okay. Payroll, finances, everything here, everything that you do more than once in your business should have a process that is replicable by each and every person that sits in that seat and does that role. Okay. It is daunting. It is boring. It is annoying, but it is essential, especially if you want to sell your business at some point in the future. And especially if you want to be able to step back from the day-to-day operations, because not everything's not in your head. All right. So if you think about this, I want you to think about systematizing your business and transitioning your business, transforming your business in this year, 2025, the same way you would think about a patient or client. Okay. So let's think about a patient right now that's coming, or you can think about a client. Okay. They come to you for the first time. They say that they have had back pain for a long time. It's not limiting everything, but they're concerned about exercising. Okay. You're hearing what they're talking about, right? Then you use your eyes to see how it is that they hold themselves. So this would be the same as us evaluating how our business functions. How do our administrators um, track leads? Is there a process, or are there a bunch of sticky notes on your desk and on your computer? Okay, I'm guilty too. So, right? So what do you do with this client or patient? You ask them to move. You watch them move. You make observations. Oh, I noticed that shoulder wasn't moving so great when they lifted their arm over their head, right? Then maybe as a physical therapist, maybe you put your hands on them. You start tinkering a little. Oh, what if I do this? Does this make it worse? Oh, what if I do this? Does this make it better? Then you devise a plan for this person. And the plan is building up to the actual goal. It doesn't mean, oh, let's do teaser today, right now, even though your back hurts and you haven't moved in 10 years. No, you say, oh, let's start getting that back moving, right? Let's maybe start with some bridging, some pelvic tilts. Let's move in those hips a little bit. Let's start rotating those hips around, make sure those hips are strong enough. And little by little, you start layering these pieces over and over onto your patient or client, and they get better. They have successful movement. They might make adjustments or tell you different things, and then they're getting better. And then they're able to perform the more difficult tasks, right? It's the same way in your business. You just have to stay consistent, start slow, break the bad patterns, allow people to make mistakes. Okay, we allow our patients and clients to make mistakes. And then we say, "Ooh, was that a good one or a bad one?" And they're like, "Yeah, that was a bad one. Let me do it again." Right? Same thing with your team member. Was that a good phone call? Or you think it was little? I don't think it was great. Let me try it again. Right? It's the same thing. Okay. We build strength in our muscles and our clients by what? Consistent repetition over time. It's the same thing in your business. Consistent repetition over time with feedback creates success and accountability. Okay. It's a process, right? It is correcting inefficient processes the same way we would correct inefficient movement in our patients so that they can achieve long-term health, and then the same for our business. So our business can achieve long-term health and sustainability. The quick fixes don't work. They don't work in fitness. They don't work in dieting. They don't work. They don't work. Okay. Sustainable growth takes time. Okay. Sustainable growth takes time. So what I want to do now is I want to give you a few different examples of people in our inner circle that joined last January. So January 2024, and we're now January 2025. So they've had a full year in the program. And I just want to give you a few really amazing tactics. So we had 3 women join last January, and I'm going to give you 2 of them. Okay. So that we don't take up too much time, but so it's not like I'm giving you 2 results and I had 20 people join. No, I had 3 women join the group because that's what we had space for last year. And these are the 2 of the results that I'm giving you, just in an way just to save a little bit of time. Okay. So one person, okay, female business owner, owns an insurance-based physical therapy practice. So insurance-based, right? Okay. So people are like, they can't make that much of a change. In 1 year, in 12 months, she had a 15% increase in revenue. 15% increase in revenue in 1 year. Okay. She increased her profit margin 5%, from 12 to 17%. Okay. So she had an increase in revenue and she had an increase in profit, which is great because she was able to streamline her costs a little bit better. But here is the biggest thing. She also gave herself a 15% raise, which was something like $12,000. That's amazing. So she increased her revenue 15%. She increased her profit by 5%. And she gave herself, which is probably why her profit didn't go up as much either. She gave herself a raise. Oops, my mic dropped. I don't know if that made a really weird sound. 15%, 15% raise in an insurance-based physical therapy practice. Okay. And the other things that she did, the way she did that was really start to build systems and accountability and start to look at her numbers each and every month. Now, this one's really amazing. This one, I was like floored. She already had some really, really great foundation when she started the program, but I knew that there was even more potential to do more. So this next person had a 75% growth in revenue. 75%. Ain't adding $200,000 in revenue to her business in 1 year. $200,000. Okay. That's not even the biggest thing. She went from she gave herself a $50,000 raise. She went from doing 200 and some odd, no, just over $300,000 and paying herself 25,000 to doing over 500,000 and paying herself $75,000 a year. And her profit stayed stable at 12%. So she was able to give herself a $50,000 raise, keep her profit the same, while increasing the top line and keeping the bottom line stable. And by the way, this was during a crazy, batshit crazy turmoil year, losing almost half her staff and having to rebuild. Okay. It was amazing to watch, and it is still amazing to watch. All right. So those are two of the three women. And the other woman that joined as well at that time, she did hit her revenue mark. I think she had an increase. It was maybe like 5 or 10%, but she took a 2-month sabbatical. November and December, she shut it down. She was burnt out, not burnt out. She just was like, she had gone through a lot of like personal things, and a couple hires didn't work out. And she really wanted to give herself some clarity. She took a 2-month sabbatical and still hit her revenue goal for the year. All right. So what I want to do is kind of give you an idea of growth potential. Okay. And I want you to really understand this from a ROI perspective, like returning on your investment. Okay. Which again, that's what you should look at. Is this investment going to be worth it? And is it going to get us to our goal? So let's say that you as owner spend 15 hours a week on administrative tasks. You do the emails, you return emails, you answer the phones, you go to the post office, you do the mail, you do the bank deposits, all of this stuff. Because I know there's people out there that are like, I can't hire an admin person. I can't afford it. Okay. So if you're doing 15 to 20 hours a week doing admin work, and the cost of an administrative assistant, let's say, is 20, a good one is 20 to 25, and they take that over, that's like between $300 and $400 a week. All right. Now, so if you're paying them, let's even go on the high end, and let's say $400 a week. Okay. You're paying them $400 a week, right? Now, but you charge, all right, you could be seeing patients in that hour for $150. So if you took those 15 hours, right, and you could transition that time to either free time or seeing a patient or a client or teach a class for $150, that would be $117,000 a year that you could generate in revenue, as opposed to, hiring an administrator. So let me give you those numbers again. If you hired an administrator at $20 an hour for 20 hours a week, that's $400 a week. Okay. So that's $20,000 a year, roughly. Right. But if you're doing it and you normally charge $150, right? That's $1,500. Okay. More than $1,500. Okay. What is that? 2,200 a week. Okay. And that equals like $117,000 at the end of the year. So if you take 117, let's say 120, and you subtract the 20,000 that it would cost you to hire an admin assistant, you're leaving $100,000 on the table. Hire the admin assistant, but hire the admin assistant with a plan, with a process, with expectations and things to give them. Okay. Plus, you're freeing up your own time. If you want to use that time to see patients, great. If you want to use that time to teach classes, great. If you want to use that time to do the marketing, great. If you want to use that time to lie down and take a nap, phenomenal. Okay. So let's talk about another way. Let's talk about the client capacity situation. Okay. So let's say your current capacity, right, is that you really only have the capacity to do 10 classes a week because it's you, right? And each one has 5 people in the class, right? So it's 50 people a week. But if you had the proper hiring system and onboarding system and training system, and you could hire somebody else and you could double that, right? So if you could hire another person to also teach 10 classes a week, 5 people, $50, and you say on average class is $30 a class. So that's $1,500. Okay. That's an extra like $100,000 a year. It's great. Okay. So now, what about if you set up better systems and you stop being a bottleneck in your business and doing all the things and holding all the hats and having your thumbprint on everything, and you improve the way, the place, the culture where these people work and they don't leave, and you have high retention of your team members, it saves you. They say that to replace one full-time team member oftentimes costs 50% of their salary. So let's say you have a teacher that's making $50,000 a year and there's turnover, it could cost $25,000 to replace that person. Or you could have good systems in place and enough profit and cash flow in your business to pay your people well, provide them benefits, provide them good agency and autonomy over their schedule. And you could have people like Pilates and Grove has someone that's been there for 11 years, 7 years, 6 years. We only have 1 or 2 people, a handful of people that have been there less than 5 years. We have 2 people that have been there for 10 and more. Okay. So again, like think of what you're leaving on the table by not getting your systems and your operations running smoothly and efficiently. You could be leaving yourself a lot of money on the table. Okay. The long-term benefits of taking a full year to systematize your business for sure reduce donor stress, 1,000%. Okay. You have a better client experience because everyone is doing it the same way all the time and people don't feel frenzied. You have increased business value because with systems, you can actually turn over like a business. Nobody wants to buy a business that's just in your head. There's nothing to buy. So having standard operating procedures, a digital platform, accountable team members, that makes your business valuable. Easier staff training, predictable recurring revenue, and a scalable business model for which you can grow and scale and do so much more. All right. Now, how can you go about doing this? Well, you can do this by working with a business coach. There's lots of us out there. But if you're a female, boutique healthcare wellness or fitness business owner, Pilates studio, yoga studio, physical therapy practice, and are interested in learning from me, someone who has done it, same as you, putting one foot in front of the other and can guide you along that journey, I invite you to apply for the inner circle. Okay. Our Beyond the Movement inner circle is limited to 10 female applicants, or 10 female businesses get invited to participate in this program. You have to be doing over $200,000 in revenue, and you have to have a team, not a big team, one person, two people, and wanting to grow. Okay. Wanting to create these systems that you take with you forever and ever and ever. Right. So this investment will keep on giving in perpetuity. So I also want to read to you something that someone sent me last week, because she was actually, let me see where it is. She was actually just deciding between whether she wanted to stay, like she was gonna, she joined in July of 2024, July and August. And she was like, oh, maybe I'll wait till January. And I kind of talked to her and said, it's up to you, but this is why I think you should start now. And this is what she sent this to me over the weekend. She was like, I'm so glad I didn't wait till January. In 4 months, you have challenged me to dig into my financials and get more comfortable with my numbers, things I had been avoiding for years. I feel like I'm working on the things that make a difference: core values, future planning, team culture. I was going month by month before. Now I have a plan and process for which to move forward. You have provided me with such great resources for things I was just trying to piecemeal together myself. The in-person summit, we had one in November, was so great and inspiring. And I'm just so grateful to have you and others for support and accountability. If I started in January, that would have been okay, but I would just be starting. And I'm so glad I'm not starting, and I can start 2025 with a more stable and sustainable structure. So that was someone too that was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll do it. And in 4 months, so August, September, October, and pretty much November, because she sent that to me like 2 weeks ago. She was just saying how much she's gotten out of the program. Now, that is also the kind of business owner we want, someone that's going to take the information and implement it. But the beauty of this program with me is that I'm sharing the processes, the systems that I have built at Pilates in the Grove to allow us to have a 7-figure business with multiple 6 figures in profit that pays myself, the owner, a 6-figure salary, where I just run the vision for the company. Okay. I'm not on the client list. I don't teach classes. I mean, I cover once in a while because I enjoy it, but I have grown a sustainable, profitable business, and I want to help as many women as possible. So at the time of this recording, we have one available spot because the other 9 are taken, and we only allow 10 women in each cohort until we reopen enrollment again in July. So if you're listening to this in real time, you can go to my website, www.christagurka.com/mentorship, and apply. And if you're not sure that you want to join now, or it's full and you want to get on the wait list for July, go ahead and apply. We can start a discovery call. You can ask me whatever questions, because the same way I make sure the women are the right for the group, you need to make sure that I'm the right coach and my program is the right program that will help you achieve your goals. All right. So if you want to be the type of person that grows $200,000 in revenue, gives yourself 15 to 50% raises, systemizes your business so you're no longer the one that the day-to-day revolves around, I can help you get there. All right. And I love the group that we have curated. It's really amazing because this shit is hard. It's just good to have other people that you can talk to and talk you off the ledge and be supportive when you're having a down day or you have to let someone go. And we're all here. We're all doing the same thing, putting one foot in front of the other. And so check out my website, www.christagurka.com/mentorship. And I would love to invite you to apply. And until next time, my friends, I'm wishing you the best 2025 ever. And until next time, bye for now.